like he should be fired. If it was to the point where he's the only one that should be suspended, then he should be fired.
On today's Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Yacht Coaches Podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis discuss the extended fallout from the suspension of Ime Udoka, provide player and team updates in advance of the 2022-2023 NBA season, as well as sharing some thoughts about college basketball. Welcome to today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, and I'm kicking it back because I'm unpacking and I'm looking at my World Tag Team title belt that is all autographed. And he is my lover boy, Dennis Condrey, to my late, great, beautiful Bobby Eaton, because I have their signatures and Bobby's no longer with us. The icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, Bobby Eaton and I had the same birthday.
Really?
I was a big Bobby Eaton fan.
Okay.
So I am so happy I have that signature. From that, but welcome, and fans, we are celebrating our 200th episodes all week. This is episode 203, but Mike, good to have you back for a basketball episode. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, sir. We're doing well. Glad to be back.
Oh man, this is awesome. And fans, you'll see all week we are in the new studio. Actually, we're making it a studio. And I have better lighting thanks to my wife. My wife's like, all right, we got to do something now that we're here. The ring lights are off to the side, and I have like spotlight. So it's a little hot though. And I got a long sleeve on. But anyway, Mike's going to be able to chime in on a lot of preseason stories, and we'll get his takes. And fans will also just kind of start prepping for the NBA, going all over the place with various teams and their issues. But there is more fallout from the Ime Udoka situation. So the independent law firm probe into Coach Udoka found that he used crude language in his dialogue with a female subordinate prior to the start of an improper workplace relationship with the woman, an element that significantly factored into the severity of his one-year suspension. Those investigative findings, which describe verbiage on Udoka's part that was deemed especially concerning coming from a workplace superior, contributed to what is likely a difficult pathway back to his reinstatement. So, Mike, you have yet to formally chime in on the situation. We had Follerin and Will on last week, and they chimed in. I've chimed in. Floor is yours, my friend. What are your thoughts on the entire situation?
I think it's completely sad. And I think we need to look at the fact that more than these two people who are hurt or involved, more than him, his wife, her family members, like every time, whoever she is, so to speak, because I'm trying to figure out how one was like suspended or punished and the other one wasn't in the situation. Like he should be fired. If it was to the point where he's the only one that should be suspended, then he should be fired.
Well, as you say that, and we read from Celtics owner Wick Grousbeck, said the suspension, which goes to June 30th, 2023, was a product of multiple violations of team policies. And he also said the Celtics won't stand in Udoka's way should he have the chance to become a coaching candidate elsewhere. There are teams, Mike, and you're not shocked by this, that have tried to gather more information in preparation for possibly evaluating him for future employment. He can coach, Mike. He can coach.
Yeah, but this just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up at all. I'm sorry. It don't add up to me. Because I'm trying to figure out what did he do that would cause him to be suspended, but then you didn't fire him and you don't mind if he go get a job somewhere else. And what multiple violations were there? Why would you want to keep somebody with multiple violations?
Yes, the suspension thing, as I mentioned last week, and I want to get your response.
I don't like it.
The investigation started in July, which is when the suspension should have started. And once the suspension with pay started, that's when you start your exit plan. So then prior to the season, you have your joint press conference. You only have to say it once. And then you can say he is no longer a member of our organization. Thus, we can't discuss personnel matters. Right. What they did was say he is still a member of our organization. So every conversation you have with any member of your team, that is a fair question. And you did that to your organization. And quite frankly, you're actually good enough to win and do some stuff. Caesars had you 54.5 wins or something like that. So you're supposed to compete. So anyway, I'm glad you had a chance to chime in. And now I'm going to take you to America's favorite team, the Brooklyn Nets. So fans, we're going to spend some extended time talking about various pieces of the Brooklyn Nets, starting with Kevin Durant. Stop that. We've got a show to do. Brooklyn Nets star forward Kevin Durant wants to move past the offseason that was consumed by his trade request. Sure. And Durant said, and I quote, "Can we move past this at some point? I know it's an interesting story. I know it took up most of the offseason and drama sells. I get that, but I didn't miss any games. I didn't miss any practices, and I'm still here. So hopefully we can move past that." Mike, any thoughts on Kevin Durant?
What in the hell does the games and practices miss got to do with any of this?
Does he have a point? He didn't miss anything.
I don't want to hear
He asked for a trade. He didn't get a trade. He's back in practice.
Soap opera. Y'all keep talking about WWE. Okay. This ain't much different. This ain't no different. This whole Sega, this whole segment of what's going on now in the Brooklyn Nets is like a soap opera. It is like WWE. Like, it's just who's coming behind the curtain second. Like, that's where I'm looking. Like, come on, man. Seriously.
So we're going to tag in to Steve Nash, coach. Brooklyn Nets coach Steve Nash wants to make it clear that his relationship with star forward Kevin Durant is good heading into the start of the season. Nash said the air was cleared during an August meeting, and we are all moving forward. Any thoughts on Steve Nash, sir?
I don't know if I could move forward with all that. I mean, the money is good, I guess, because you can't talk about – first of all, it all started when they said they didn't need a head coach. Oh, we don't need a head coach. Sometimes I'll be the head coach. The next week, he'll be the head. Come on, man.
Which takes us to Kyrie, who said he gave up over $100 million by not being vaccinated. But all of that's in the past. Canada's changed their law. NBA doesn't care. So, again, any thoughts about Kyrie moving forward with the Brooklyn Nets? Okay, so now Ben Simmons will be the final net we talk about. And one of the other reasons that Nash and the Nets are feeling optimistic about this season is they've got Ben Simmons, baby, the former number 1 draft pick, who is a full participant after missing all of last season because of back surgery and mental health concerns. Steve Nash says he doesn't care if, and I quote, Ben Simmons ever shoots a jump shot because of the versatility and the unique skill set he has. Fowler last week mentioned the fact that he can defend, and that will cause a multitude of problems for other teams because of his ability to defend. And you got, 3 of the best players in the world on the Brooklyn Nets. What's your Nets outlook, Mike?
Being a point guard in the NBA is not about just defending. Yes, in the playoffs that matters, but 82 game season, you're not defending every night like you crazy. You're just not going to do it. Yeah, and they're doing it at the point guard don't mean nothing if the other guys aren't defending. You know what I mean? Not saying that Kyrie won't, not saying that KD won't, but that's just three guys. You know, you still got to put the pieces around to feel comfortable enough to be able to do it too. I wish him the best, but I don't. It was just too much for me for the Nets in general. There's a lot going on.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Kyrie's quote from last week. He said, and I quote, "I didn't appreciate how me being unvaccinated came to be a stigma within my career that I don't want to play, or that I'm willing to give up everything to be a voice for the voiceless."
Voice for the voiceless?
Yes, that's a Kyrie quote. So. All right, we're going to move on.
Up for everybody who think the world flat.
We're going to move to the Phoenix Suns, sir. How about that? Phoenix Suns center DeAndre Ayton said he hasn't spoken with Coach Monty Williams since he was benched during a stunning Game 7 loss. Ayton had a tense summer with the Suns. Remember, he signed the 4-year, $133 million offer sheet with the Indiana Pacers before the Suns matched. DeAndre Ayton said, and I quote, "I haven't spoken to him at all ever since the game. I can show him better than I can tell him. It's life. No one cares about the uncomfortable nature of it. It's how you perform and what you bring to the table. What's said is already said." As the Suns come into camp, as the Suns start the league year, what do you think about that kind of statement from somebody you signed a large deal to, Mike?
I don't understand why. Like, why is this a story? I mean, the coach didn't play him. He didn't play him.
But he signed to leave. He wanted to leave, and they matched the deal, and now he's coming back. It's got to be a little.
So he took the money. He got shut up. He shouldn't be saying nothing. He got. I mean, you took the money.
Money. That's John Thompson. Don't tell me how old you are.
Yeah.
You cash the check.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how bad you feel.
Yeah.
When you cash the check.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Your bank account make you smile, then you smile when your ass come to work.
All right. So we're going to end this segment with the Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis missed 42 games last year with a variety of injuries. LeBron James sat out 26 games last year, and it should have been more. Russell Westbrook struggled last year. Now, Anthony Davis vows to get the Lakers back on track by approaching this season like he did when he was first traded to LA in 2019-2020. He feels like they've got something to prove. Mike, what are your thoughts on the Lakers going into the season?
I'm a little concerned that they went back and got Pat Bev and the other
Dennis
guy.
Schroeder. Don't forget Dennis Schroeder.
I can't believe what them two together don't make Rondo. So I'm worried. I'm really worried. They still don't have point guard play to me. They got a guy who likes to run his mouth, in Pat Bev, but that don't mean they got point guard play. So give me Rondo.
Rondo's 107 years.
And still better than them dudes.
Joe Louis was 75 years old.
I'll still take Rondo.
All right, fans, when we get back on the other side of this commercial break, we are going to talk about a lot of just different teams, different player personnel moves, different situations on the Odd Coaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Eye Coaches Podcast. As my partner is still ranting about the underperformance of the Los Angeles Lakers. So fans, we're going to start segment 2 talking about the Chicago Bulls, man. So after spending the summer rehabbing in Los Angeles and seeking all types of opinions, Mike, Lonzo Ball's going to be out, man. He can't run and jump without feeling pain. And it's October. Season that ain't got going yet. How much of his absence is going to be an effect to the Bulls, man? Will they still be able to be one of the top 8?
No,
well,
they
actually
won't.
it's top 7. No, top 6, because you don't want to be 7 through 10.
Give me top 2. Like, are they going to be in the top 2? No.
Oh,
Let's let it move. Let's move on. Even with him, they wouldn't be top 2. They're not better than Boston. They're not better than Miami, in my opinion. Like, come on, man. I put Lil Trey and what's the name of Atlanta over them. Be honest with you. Coming into this season.
Yes. Yeah, man. I still haven't seen it in the postseason. I haven't seen the defensive postseason dog that they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's going to be a problem. So we're going to move to New Orleans. Willie Green, my favorite coach's name, said the Pelicans projected starting lineup. Mike, all right, let's get ready. Zion Williams.
Oh my God, that's where you went.
CJ McCollum.
What's the over-under?
Brandon Ingram. Herb Jones and Jonas Valanciunas. That's the Pelicans starting 5. Is that a top 6 team in the West?
No. Well, I don't know. In the West, nah, it's not a top 6 team in the West.
Wow, man. They got Zion back, and he's looking good, man.
No. That's on paper. We go back through this. I want to know the over-under on how many games he's going to play. That's what I want to know.
Oh, man. You went there.
Man, you can do that. What you want on that? What you want?
I'm not touching that. But out of 82 games, nobody plays 82 anymore. So we're already going to just set the bar at 70. So then
7?
No. We're gonna set them because no one plays 82 anymore. So we didn't do 82. So since we did this, fans, and Mike made me, he knows I like a challenge. So now 65. With a baseline of 70, I'm gonna go 60, I'll go below 65 if you want that to be your base.
Shit, I wasn't even gonna go that high.
Oh,
I was thinking more like 45 games.
No. So I'm going to say north 45. Of 60. I'll say north of 60. How about that?
Play more than 45.
All right. The Rockets.
That's our friendly way. Let me write it down now. Get it in the books.
All right, because I have no faith in him either. But I'm going to think
45 games. 45 games. Watch.
And he's going to play north of 60. So it'll be a push if he plays 46 to 59.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see.
All right, the Houston Rockets are acquiring center Derek Favors and a 2025 second-round draft pick in an 8-player trade with guess which team? Oklahoma City. They've got all the picks in the world. The Thunder will acquire 2 draft exceptions and save $1 million in salary in a deal that sends Favors, guards Ty Jerome and Theo Maledon and Mo Harkless to the Rockets for David Nwamba, Sterling Brown, Trey Burke, and Marquise Chris.
I only knew one person in that whole thing. You named 6 or 7 guys. They all in the league, and I only knew one of them. I know Harkless. That's it.
You know Trey Burke? No, Did he go to Boston College?
Man, I don't know.
Okay, 8.5 is not here. All right, so Oklahoma City are also sending a 2025 second-round draft pick acquired this week in another trade to the Atlanta Hawks, which ends up dropping the Thunder approximately $10 million under the luxury tax. So after this trade, both the Thunder and the Rockets have 18 guaranteed contracts going into training camp, and they're going to need to go down to 15 by October 17th. So, is Oklahoma City just saying the season?
That's not what they've been doing.
Okay, fans, Boston. And before I talk about Boston, Mike, have you paid any attention to the Malika Andrews, Stephen A. Smith?
Yes, I have.
Can you let me set it up? Fans, on a recent episode of First Take, maybe about 2 weeks ago, towards the end of the show, Malika Andrews came on to discuss Coach Udoka's situation and something said to him, and had some very strong remarks for Stephen A. Smith, which Stephen A. Smith, in classic Stephen A. Smith form, didn't take very well to, but I thought he showed a tremendous amount of restraint. Dealing with Malika Andrews. Also, recently, Rachel Nichols has arisen as she's going to be working at Showtime, and she had some comments about her time working for the worldwide leader. But I wanted to get Mike's comments on that because the Boston story came up, and now we're going to talk about on the court issues. But real quick, Mike, any thoughts on the Malika Andrews controversy that's been all over the Twitter machine?
Yeah, I think she's a little bit she's off of it, man. Like, I think she went a little too far. I think that this ain't the first time she's done it too. I think that I don't want to say smelling herself, but I think maybe the power and the position is starting to go to her head a little bit, the way she's responding. And that, like, you can't act like that just because you have to show some impartialness, I would say. Like, we all can come out and say things against things and how we feel, but you can't just be that way about everybody, or you can't believe one side of every story. You jump into the defense and you don't know the story. But then you're talking about a man of something that happened. Like, that's really, really the issue, that she went back and looked at the interim coach's history,
interim coach's situation,
and brought that up. Like, everybody's not perfect like her, I guess, but it's going to be hard to have people who want to work with her. And I don't think she'll be in ESPN long, unless this might turn into a WESPN. Because it'd have to be all female cast, because ain't nobody going to want to, like, ain't going to work with her like that. And Stephen A. is not, if anything, Stephen A. is fair. If you bad, you bad. If you good, you good. Stephen A. will do that. And for you to attack him, so to speak, is not good. It doesn't make her credible. It doesn't. And I think she thinks she's better than she is. She thinks she's a little arrogant, and somebody needs to put her in her place.
Well, I will say, and I did want to, bring this up, and I did pay attention kind of over the course of the week with that and the different back and forths. If I'm not mistaken, she's like 25, so she's extremely young. She's very young in the business. And that's what I immediately thought. Oh no, this is the business. We use that quote not only because I have a love and affection for Prince and Purple Rain, but it's true. And you ain't too far gone to understand that. So I am sure she was pulled into a meeting, as we've all had in our career, because I know who I was at 25. And Mike knew 25-year-old Coach Adams. And Coach Adams, I will say something to you. I was not always air quote polished. And some people would say, I'm still not polished because I'm still that dude. Okay. But I understand a lot more. And I had mentors. And it reminded me of playing a summer league game against DeMatha. And again, it's summer league. I should have known it's summer league. And I'm a young coach. I'm like 19, 20. And we had a chance to beat DeMatha at the High Point Summer League. And the newspaper reporter put a mic in my face before I knew, okay, let's not say this and whatever. And I said, man, DeMatha's a team in name only. Man, when that little local newspaper came out, Hank Galata, and I miss him dearly, called me in his office and said, what the are you talking? And yes, sir. Yes, I'm wrong. 100%. got no business. So
Yeah.
you ain't done nothing.
Yeah.
And it killing me. Just
Yeah.
body shots and punches. And
Yeah.
because I was wrong. So I hope they had that conversation. I hope Malika, bless your heart, continue to work and all of
Nah,
that.
bro. You
But
can't do
you
that.
can't do that.
AJ
And-
always talks about Michael Francis and Mike Francis back then. And I was 25, I was Mike Francis. Now I'm Michael, just like you were Keith Adams. You're Dr. Adams now.
Yes, and we do
Keith
get that
Adams
when we
then.
see our friends.
Yes.
And like, can you believe this dude's got a
Yeah.
doctorate? Dog, I'm with him every week. I know what he wants to say, but he can't say it. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
All right, now back on the court to Boston.
Which this show ain't gonna be pretty good after I get my administration. This show ain't gonna be shit. Ain't gonna be no odd couple.
It'll be two buttoned up, suit wearing. All right, the Boston Celtics agreed to a 1-year, fully guaranteed contract with Blake Griffin. And I hate the fact that they now call Blake Griffin veteran forward Blake.
He is a veteran, dog.
Man, this guy was amazing, and now he's like a hack. He's
going territory to territory now.
He likes Sweet Hanson, yeah. Man, Sweet Hanson, he's a double tough customer.
He chasing them checks.
Man. So now with Blake Griffin on tap, he provides Boston some front court depth because Gallinari got hurt and Robert Williams got hurt too. So they actually need what he can bring. They've got 11 fully guaranteed contracts.
What are you bringing?
He's bringing some size up front and some depth. And listen to how we're talking about Blake Griffin. Yeah, he's a good body. Gives him 6 fouls. He can eat up some minutes. He can eat up some minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Any thoughts before we close this segment? And you are hilarious.
Man, I hope Blake Griffin stay healthy before the knee injuries start coming up. He's I like him. He's a very tough guy. Yeah. I do understand that. The rest of the league is the rest of the league. We're going to see. I'm really disappointed the Lakers didn't make a bigger move. I can tell you that coming. This is preseason. Disappointed that the Nets didn't, make a better move. Like a lot of teams didn't make the moves who usually do. And all that does is bring the other teams closer to them. Like Boston is going to be there. Well, I don't know the coaching situation, but Boston their talent is still pretty much the same. So they should be okay. I look at them. I'm not going to look at your favorite regular season teams as saying they're going to improve.
Done.
Yeah, your boy Mitchell, who, good God almighty, that was crazy.
Well,
so it's going to be interesting.
When we get back, we're going to talk some college basketball news, and we need a public apology for a certain coach in Memphis from some outside folks. We'll be right back on the Coaches Podcast.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress, as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Coaches Podcast. In segment 3, wanted to close with 2 college stories. So let's talk about Memphis real quick. An independent accountability resolution process hearing, IARP, concluded that Memphis Tigers men's basketball coach Penny Hardaway didn't violate NCAA rules when he provided benefits to 3 prospective student athletes because of his long-standing philanthropy in Memphis. The IARP panel ruled that Memphis failed to monitor the education and activities of an athletics boosters, provided impermissible extra benefits, conducted impermissible recruiting activities with prospective student athletes, and failed to cooperate with investigative processes by delaying the production of requested documents. Tigers were placed on 3 years probation through September 2025 and fined 5,000 plus 0.25% of their men's basketball budget. Memphis cannot appeal. Hardaway did express gratitude to supporters, saying, "We're finally at the end of an extremely challenging period, and I could not be more grateful. Want to thank our players, their families, as well as our coaches and support staff for continuing focus on what we could control as this process lingered." None of this was easy, but the group always had faith. Mike, we talked about the story. We also talked about the fact that Penny was an AAU coach, community figure. He's freaking Memphis.
Right.
Okay. So he's going to have relationships with people that no job is going to stop.
Yep.
So this was good to hear that in terms of his piece, he was kind of vindicated on that. Any thoughts before we move on to our next story? But I wanted to mention that.
You and I are subject to the same things. I mean, we have relationships with people that we just have relationships, one, because of who we are, because we're in the community, because we're African American, like most of our student athletes. Their uncles we may know, their aunts, their grandparents. We've coached family members, even though they may be at another school and they come by, and the minute you're talking to them or that parent brings them over to introduce you or something like that, now you're recruiting the kid from the other school. Mm-hmm. So I've been through 100 times. Every conversation you have, as a Penny Hardaway, as a Dr. Adams, as a Coach Francis, depending on who it is, they're always looking to say you're cheating because they can't beat you.
All right. And we're going to close this week, fans, with something that I wrote about in my own doctoral work and in the book. And this is what I like to call the unappreciated piece of a college scholarship. So 2 situations took place this week. I want my partner to react to them because he understands the unappreciated price of a college scholarship. USC men's basketball center Vincent Iwachuka is one of the top incoming freshmen in college basketball. And he said he suffered a cardiac arrest event during a workout this summer, but he's feeling great. The incident happened on July 1st. He was hospitalized for a few days at Cedars Sinai Medical Center. This past summer, he had this issue during the workout. Since the event, I have received optimal care from the university and my personal expert medical team. Currently, I'm adhering to standard protocol designed to ensure my health and safety, and I'm feeling great, and my recovery and rehabilitation remain positive. If he was Vincent from down the street, he's not getting any of this. And no, that's real. So this is what I call the unappreciated price of a college scholarship. You have access when you play at these schools to world-class medical. You do. I mean, how many injuries and the blue tent and all of the different resources. So yes, get the bag. NIL is wonderful and all of that, but don't underestimate the price of this full-time scholarship, which takes me to Kentucky women. Kentucky coach Kyra Elsie says freshman Tiana Heron is recovering from open heart surgery to correct a structural abnormality. The 6'4" post player learned of her condition after arriving at school in June and received other opinions before surgery was recommended. Senior trainer Courtney Jones said in a release that Heron underwent surgery August 24th at Texas's Children's Hospital in Houston, and she's recovering at home in Texas. She said Heron is the definition of a warrior, and all are grateful to all of the help and support that she's received. Again, if she's Tiana from down the road, she's not getting that type of support. So as much as we want to bemoan, as much as we want to transfer and move back and forth and say this, that, and the other about the college scholarship, man, I am pleased that both of them are still with us, Mike, because without that type of help, they might not be. Any thoughts to what, again, I call the underappreciated portion of a college scholarship?
I think that people don't look at it, but it is true. I agree with you. There are some things that's underappreciated, but for so long, our student athletes have been underappreciated.
Yes.
So let's, not, we can't look at it one way and not the other way, because to me, student athletes have been underappreciated. Like, deciding where they can't transfer to. And,
Yes.
Things like that where you just treat them as property. So I'm glad that it is coming on the other side now. You can see some of it. So,
man, that guy went to Cedars. That's where the celebrities go.
Yeah.
And she's got sent to Texas Children's. Yeah. That's one of the best hospitals in the country. So again, good luck to them as they recover, and good luck to us as we continue on for 200, 300, 400 / 1,000 episodes of this. It's so good to be with my partner. Thank you to all of our fan support. We don't make it to over 200 episodes without a lot of support from a lot of people that you don't even know. So, Mike, anything before we close, sir?
No, sir. Everything is everything.
All right. Good. So on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches Podcast, and we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches Podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches Podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.